It's been such a long time that we all have been struggling to find a good AV receiver that matches your budget, that is available in stock, and has got most of the things that you need in a home theater today. So if you have been also one of the strugglers in this particular home theater search, then hit the like button right now because this video is for you. Now, as you all know, Pioneer has been a long known and renowned electronics brand that is there in the market since decades, and the VSX series, which they have been bringing up since the last so many years, have always seen good upgrades. And today with us we have got Pioneer VSX-834, which is one of the best budget friendly Atmos AV receivers that is available today in the Indian markets. Now VSX-834, why am I saying budget amplifiers? Because most of the 7-channel AV receivers, if you look around, they start from 80-90 grams. Whereas this AV receiver, which is Pioneer VSX-834, is trying to break the monotony of these premium 7-channel Atmos AV receivers by bringing the price down to only 60,000 Indian rupees. So at around 60,000 Indian rupees, this particular Pioneer VSX-834 is already making waves across the country and the globe. And today in this particular video, we are going to see whether putting up your hard-earned money into this AV receiver is going to be worth it. And in case you want to compare it, then which are the closest competitor of this particular AV receiver. And lastly, we are going to see whether this particular AV receiver deserves an upgrade and you can actually buy something else as well. So let's get started with today's video. But before we begin, let me introduce you to AVIBA. So AVIBA is your customer service executive who is going to be available at your fingertips. Yes, you can check the link in the description, and in case of any queries that you would have, right from product knowledge to stock prices, home theater solutions, or even to schedule a call with me, AVIBA is going to come at your rescue, and she is available using, you can actually talk to her using the link in the description. So make sure to do that, and by this time I'm sure that most of all videos have got the same link available as well. So Pioneer VSX-834 is a 7-channel AV receiver, which is a Dolby Atmos AV receiver. It has got 80 watts of power output at 8 ohms, which is pretty much equivalent to most of the 5-channel as well as 7-channel AV receivers from the other brands. Now Pioneer 834, some of the highlights, as obviously we mentioned in the past, is that it has got Dolby Atmos. It also has got Dolby Vision compatibility and HDR10 compatibility for the video aspect. Then it has got Zone 2 out or Zone B out as they call it. So you can actually create two zones, one which is your main theater room or the main room wherein your system is, and the second zone can be any other area in your home wherein you can connect two speakers and you can actually play a different music by keeping the amplifier on in that particular area. So that's the beauty of this AV receiver. Few of the drawbacks that we are going to see obviously is that it has got no 8K support. So when we are looking at all the AV receivers of the other brands which has got 8K compatibility, 4K at 120 Hz, that is something which is missed in this particular AV receiver. The second drawback is that it does not have eARC port, which is today very common in all the Atmos AV receivers, because if your TV is Atmos compatible and if you are going to watch Netflix, Amazon Prime or all the other OTT apps on the TV itself, and if you just need to pull out the audio using eARC, this particular AV receiver can only take ARC, which means that it will take Dolby Atmos compressed signal from the TV, and that is how you will not be able to enjoy Atmos to the fullest extent in this particular AV receiver. Now in case you want to still enjoy Atmos, what you'll have to do is you'll have to buy a separate streamer, which is Amazon Fire TV Stick 4K Max or a Roku media player, Nvidia, Apple TV. So any of these 4K media streamers which has got Atmos compatibility needs to be connected to this into the HDMI input port, and that is how you will get an Atmos signal delivered into the AV receiver, and only the video output of this can be shared to the TV. Now the other features about this particular AV receiver is that it does not have an HDMI 2.1, which is obviously the 8K support HDMI port, which means that you won't be able to use this AV receiver to connect to your new PlayStations and that is where, in case you are planning for a good gaming console compatible AV receiver, Pioneer VSX-834 may not be the right choice for you. Now, talking about the power, 80 watts, as I said, is good enough to connect to any satellite speakers, floor standing speakers which are in the entry level segment, bookshelf speakers, and that is why this AV receiver can very well be taken care of in a living room, bedroom, or a small media room scenario. In case you want to really power very high wattage output speakers in a dedicated home cinema room, it is always better to go for a better upgrade than this particular AV receiver, and this may not be the only choice that you would be left with. Also, if you see the design, the best part about this particular AV receiver is that they have reduced the size of the AV receiver, so they have made it a little compact. And we have talked about this in one of our videos, which I'm going to share over here, about AVR placement. So we have seen that one of the most common problems wherein in the existing living rooms or bedrooms, wherein the TV console space is very, very small and you want to accommodate an AV receiver which fits into that 12-14 inches. This is one of the models that you can look at. Consuming around 13 inches in depth, but we obviously recommend some more extra inches for the connectors behind. Height is also only 6 inches or lesser than 6 inches. So that's again a fantastic point. So compact in design, fantastic remote control which has got a vocal or the dialogue enhancer button. Now that button is something wherein for movies, if you feel that the dialogues are not being heard properly, you can actually just press that and it can increase the volume level of dialogues. Apart from that, when we talk about calibration, you have got preset options on this AV receiver so that you can actually create different presets about different configuration. So one of the questions that many people had asked us about was, how can we have movies and music played from the same amp with the same settings, because both requires different EQ, both requires different setups. So in such scenarios, what you can do is you can actually create preset, one for movies, one for music, one for games, and that is how you can actually just click the preset and that preset will load during that particular application. Now, coming to the input part of it and the rear panel of the AV receiver, it has got 4 HDMI inputs, it has got 1 HDMI output. So as you can see, the HDMI output does not have ARC mentioned on it. It has got a USB port which is meant to charge your streaming dongles, so you don't have to necessarily have a separate adapter for it. It has got a coaxial input, it has got an optical input, it has also got 3 audio inputs which are your analog audio inputs, and it has got 2 pre-outs for your subwoofer and 1 zone B pre-out as well. So in case all your 7 channels are being consumed and you still need the zone 2, then it can be used through pre-outs and you can connect it to any wireless headphone or a active wireless or a wired speaker. If you see the speaker terminals, you have got speaker binding posts for the front left and right channels, which they have given a little more priority. For all the other channels, they have got those old screws which are not very classy, but I think for the price point that they are, nobody can complain more about it. If you also check the AM and FM antennas, they are also there in this particular AV receiver. The only thing that is missing is that it does not have any line outputs for your front channel. Then it does not have a phono preamp, phono connection. So in case you are looking to connect a turntable to this AV receiver, you might have to give this AV receiver a pass because this does not have a phono input. In the front, you have got 2 knobs, one which is for volume on the right hand side and one on the left which is for your inputs. Then you have got buttons right below which have been a traditional signature style of Pioneer. So the design in terms of the front part of it has not changed from the old models. They are still carrying the same old design. Couple of more features that are available on Pioneer VSX-834 is that you have got a Bluetooth version which is 4.2. Then you have got some sound presets that they have done which is for classical music, unplugged music, entertainment shows, drama shows. Now these are something which are available generally on Onkyo, Pioneer and Yamaha. So you can just press those presets and you can see your EQ change when you use that particular sound mode. Okay, now this was about the AV receiver and the spec chart and who should buy, when should you buy this is what all we covered about. Now in case those of you who are really looking to compare this particular AV receiver and would want us to cover a video wherein we compare this particular video with its closest competition, that is the Onkyo TX SR494. Now SR494 is again on the same wattage side, has got pretty much the same configuration, does not have 8K support, it does not have EARC. So I think the 494 and Pioneer VSX-834 are one of the closest competitors to each other today. The only thing that would determine the selection would be the size between these two. So in case your AV receiver cabinet is done or you cannot accommodate a bigger unit, Pioneer VSX-834 can be one of the options instead of Onkyo TX SR494. Now coming back to the upgrade part of it, which was the third part that we wanted to speak. Well, if you want to really upgrade and keep the same brand, Pioneer VSX-935 is a really nice model, which is right behind me on the right hand side. So that is something that you can look at. The other model is the Denon X1700H, which is again available. Now you have also got the S760H AV receiver, which can be again a closest upgrade to the Pioneer VSX-834. Certain features that you obviously get with them is that you get Wi-Fi support, you get 8K compatibility, you get a 2.1 version port, and you get HDMI ER. And obviously, because you are upgrading from the VSX-834, when you upgrade to these models, the power will also increase. So these 5 upgrades, if you think are worth your investment and worth your room size and the speakers that you're looking for, then look at these 2 models. Coming to the conclusion, our rating for this particular AV receiver is 3.5 star out of 5. The only reason why we could not go beyond that is because of the technological features that are missing in this particular AV receiver. In case you want to ask us anything about this particular AV receiver or you have got any questions, make sure to use the comment section and share your queries. Also, if you would want us to review any more amplifiers, I know there are 2 right behind me which we are also going to compete and talk about in our upcoming videos. So make sure to hit the subscribe button, and as I said, keep following, keep subscribing. I, Tanmay Mehta, your home technology consultant or home theater wale bhaiya, will see you all in my next video. Thank you once again for watching.